Thursday, May the 7th, 2026, and today I'm down in Rye, Kent, about to undertake a relatively new walk, swcwalks365, which is a Rye Figure of 8, another one compiled by Sean, but today I'm not going to do the 8, which involves some path closures, so I read. So I'm going to focus on the lower part of this walk around Rye Nature Reserve, about 9 miles that'll be, all being well, and a walk that I believe was inspired by Kent Wildlife Trust, because the SWC walk around that section seems to mirror their walk, but nonetheless I'm crediting it to the Saturday Walkers Club. So yeah, this signal box was where my mate used to work, old Matthew. Hasn't been in use now for many years, but when I came down here originally, he was a signalman here. Got a decent day today, quite mild, around 16 degrees, very light breeze from the east, northeast I think it is, and at the moment some sunny intervals, but according to the ever reliable Met, who have become more reliable since they changed their app, got 20% chance of rain around 2 PM. We seem to be getting April showers in May at the moment, but let's take a gamble. There's a Morrison's opposite the station here, so I need to get some signies. No church on my section of the walk that I'm aware of, so I'll find an appropriate place. I might even do the walk in reverse, because that would tie in with an appropriate timing outside the William the Conqueror pub. Not sure yet, I'll make my mind up in Morrison's. Anyway, coming up 12 noon now, around 4:30 finish I would say, so let's crack on. So after about 5 minutes of walking through the town, not much to see there really. Now stood next to the River Tillingham, which as you can see is well out. This is familiar terrain. Filmed this on previous Rye walks. Rye to Hastings I believe is one of them, many moons back. So I probably will do this in reverse just for the crack, so that I get down to Rye Harbour around lunchtime. Having walked alongside a industrial area, we then arrive at Breed Sluice. And so enter Rye Harbour Nature Reserve, which you can look online for the extent of that. It goes down to Winchelsea Beach. The journey is clear. Rye Harbour approximately half an hour. Now the omnipresent Chiff Chaff is singing away in the background. I wonder if I might get to hear the elusive cuckoo, the one member of my spring arrivals that I've yet to hear. So down in this ditch there is the common foreign invader, the Hungarian marsh frog, chirping down there, but not presently. Quite a bizarre sound actually. Really took me a while to work out what it was many moons ago. when I heard that up on the North Kent marshes for the first time. But yeah, it's pretty much everywhere in Kent and East Sussex now. I'm not going to report that on the INSS mapper, the invasive species mapper that I mentioned in my previous walk, because there's not really a lot you can do with that, and I'm not aware that it does any damage to our environment. Luckily these days, mainly sheep territory now. I think they're more valuable to farmers than cattle, so that's good, although I dare say we will encounter some cattle at some point. Lovely smell of, I think that's blackthorn blossom, leaf before blossom. Next to it hawthorn, which is pretty much blossom free now. Nice aroma though. Little egret over there. Not much water in this dike though. That gate there is literally hanging off its hinges, just about keeping the sheep at bay, I think. There is a path here off to the right, which I'm not taking, that cuts through the nature reserve. That could be a possible way back, however. Not sure I'll be coming back that way, but I'll decide that later on. Big contrast here, how it could be in the winter months and how it is today. Bone dry and cracking. Quite worrying actually, seeing as this is, you know, traditionally a marshy, wet area. Looking across towards Winchelsea up on the hill there. That's an interesting song. Don't recognise that bird. Well, that's a robin, but the other one. That. Plenty of water on my left. And on the right. I think that's a sedge warbler. Tail end of some bluebells. Wonderful song going on there. Again, I think it's the sedge warbler. Let me check that on my app. Well, the app seems to think it's a marsh warbler, which is interesting. I'll have to check that when I get back. Then the second time I recorded the song, it came up with sedge warbler, which is more in keeping with what I thought it was. And I wonder what the contamination is. Reed bed viewing platform along there. Apparently there's bearded tits down here as well. Interesting. Now a short section of road walking into Rye, entering Rye Harbour village. Looks like a pub ahead of us there, and there is a church on the walk, Church of the Holy Spirit, which, if that is the pub, as usual, isn't far from the pub. There is a wreck with seating next to the church as well, but it's a tad early in the walk for me for lunch, remembering the war dead, God rest their souls. And as usual, a lot of them in the First World War. It is open. Very simple church, but look at that roof. Amazing. Simple organ. Never seen that trademark before. From London. Not sure about that. Bit of modern art. This whole section seems to be a bit modern actually. And looking back, "17 lifeboat members lost their lives, 1928, in Rye Harbour. God rest their souls." We have done that which was our duty to do, apparently. I'm very grateful that you did. Interesting style. I haven't seen one like this, and I've seen a lot of churches over the years. Goldfinch in the background. Interesting buoy over there. Along with that anchor, 2 miles from Rye Harbour, safe anchorage, apparently. So that white building wasn't the pub, but here's the first of them, the Inkerman Arms. Free house, which in fact is currently being renovated. Passing the old church mission room. It's in the harbour stores with a bus stop opposite, and just earlier the village hall, which obviously is a polling station today. A Lib Dem candidate standing outside, God forbid. So there you've got the William the Conqueror pub, a Shepherd Neame brew. Can't see too much of it at the moment because there's people sitting outside and they might complain. But yeah, nicely located down in the harbour near the lifeboat station. A cafe called the Bosun Bite. And there is the William the Conqueror, which looks like a residential house. Shuts quite early though. A block nearby. An old Martello tower there that's within the grounds of the Rye Harbour Coastal and Country Park, which is essentially caravans and chalets. I've looked into staying there myself actually. Good location, but not as good as Winchelsea Beach, I believe. So, as we're near the holiday park, there's a few more people around now, even on a midweek in May. There's the Lifeboat going out by the looks of it. Lovely little peaceful area down here. No jet noise. All I'm hearing thus far is birdsong. And of course that boat picking up speed. Information panel about defending the coast with the Martello Towers. Harbour Discovery Centre, which has a cafe as well. Information panel about tidal rhythms influencing how nature operates. Plenty of birders in the Discovery Centre behind me, I noticed. Great time of the year to be down here for that as well. There you can see the back of the holiday camp over there. Skylarks and ringed plover apparently have nests round and about. Door seating here outside the Discovery Centre. Just passing Gooders Hyde. Unsure what that is. Could be a plover or a redshank. So as the seats are likely to disappear, as the seats are likely to dry up a tad henceforth, and it's 1:45, I'm going to take my lunch here. (2:15), lunch has been had. We're now looking towards my onward direction, the country park at Hastings there, Fairlight, etc. Plenty of nesting birds here, that's for sure. Wonderful. And behind me a wind farm, Dungeness not being too far distant. Camber Sands, I believe, behind this headland. Interesting, I wonder what that is. Find out in a minute. Unsure, it's not explained here. Something to do with the artistic world, as was the bench I was sitting on. So there you go, Second World War pillbox, first of the day, and it explains why they're called pillboxes. Apparently they reminded servicemen of a pillar box, post box. And there on the other side of the river, the wonderful Camber Sands. They do it down on Camber Sands, they do it at Waikiki. Anyone guess that one? But behind the chalet, a holiday's complete. And there is Dungeness Nuclear Power Station. Camber Sands appears in a previous walk that I've done down here from Rye. So good to be on the other bank this time second pillbox over there. Obviously you'd expect a lot of fortifications on this coastline. Nice to know. So this surface that I'm walking on at the moment was previously, once upon a time, private, used by the Environment Agency, but now it's the King Charles III England coast path. Well, it looks like the showers have arrived bang on cue further inland. Let's hope they stay there. So, more information. Didn't know that. Ivy leaf toad flax. And there they are, with their little ivy leaves. Some kind of transport system to the sea. Chain there as well. Wonder if it was tanks. Boats more likely. Information panel about shingle ridges. Quite a contrast really, because Camber Sands is beautifully sanded, yet this stretch for many miles is shingle. Loads of cormorants over there. Making use of these former gravel pits, I believe. Yeah, this information panel confirms the cormorants. And there is the hide, another one. Looks like the sea thrift may have been and gone, because I can't see any. Possibly a remnant there. Gasson's Ruin, apparently. That name has a distinctly French sound to it. (1930s) that photo was taken. So nearly a century ago. So here we have the Mary Stanford Lightboat House, from whence the, or from where the 1928 rescue team lost their lives. Google that if you're interested in learning more. Still a reef on the door. God rest their souls. So there's a tail of the shingle habitat here, longshore drift. And this section I'm familiar with, having been here a couple of weeks ago visiting. Headed up towards Castle Farm, Cattle Farm now. This stretch of water is called Nuke Beach, apparently. Just on the fringes of Winchelsea Beach here, but we don't go any closer to it. This stretch of shingle is actually up for sale if anybody's interested. Not a lot you could do with it really though, being in a conservation area. So according to this, Rye Town Centre 45 minutes, Camber Castle 15, and that's just coming into view over there. I've just come past Castle Farm. I thought it was cattle farm. Castle indeed, Camber being nearby. As I say, you can Google the walk. Sussex Wildlife Trust will have a leaflet on all of this, and some of the notes on the Saturday Walkers Club website are also appropriate. Ne'er cast a clout till the May is out, and it's certainly out at the moment. Lovely aroma. Gorse nearby as well. Not much of that in bloom though, unusually. So at this number 10 marker, do a left through the gorse, passing another stretch of water. So there are the remains of Camber Castle, which you can Google for more information. Winch you'll see up on the hill behind it, and in the distance coming into view now, Rye. Yeah, there's a clearer view of it. So at marker post 11 here, you've got a couple of options. You can continue in a sort of straightforward direct position, a direction, and go back to join the path I mentioned earlier, which would mean a bit of repetition. Or you can go left, get a bit closer to the castle, and then walk along new terrain along the military canal, which is what I'll do. So continuing that way towards Rye would get us back to where we were earlier, where I said I might come back that way, but I've decided not to avoid some repetition. So let's continue towards the castle here. So right up close to it now. Yeah, you can't actually see much inside, unfortunately. Parting shot of the castle. Now walking alongside the military canal. Doesn't look very healthy. Poor oxygen. It looks quite low as well. No surprise there really. So the GPX track is slightly wrong. That takes you off on the Camber Castle side of the military canal, but the path is actually on the other bank. So I discovered to my time loss, about 15 minutes. So the old sheep must be wondering what I'm up to, particularly the inquisitive lambs. Actually, my fault. What I filmed previously was just a ditch. There's the military canal down there on the left, and here's the onward journey. So I'll take that back. So the path that I took earlier is over that way. At that junction with the path being over there. On top of Breed Sluice again. So now about 3/4 of a mile through the town back to the station. So the version of the walk I've just completed, which was very good, was 8.6 miles apparently. Undertaken in 3 hours 41. Very nice walk, all on the level. Highest point today was 62 feet apparently, and that probably refers to the section through the town, which I didn't do. So a very level walk, cracking weather, nice chill easterly, very welcome, and perfect walking temperature of about 17 in the end. So that's free walk, thanks to Sean. Free walk SWC walk 365, a partial walk of Rye Figure of 8. Hourly service here, so 20 minutes to wait, but no worries. Day like today, don't really want to get home. Anyway, till the next time.